Electricity courses through the veins and arteries of humanity. With electricity, we've been able to achieve spectacular accomplishments beyond any of our ancestors' wildest dreams. From the nightlight in a child's bedroom to life-saving equipment in a hospital, electricity energizes our lives. Now, we are at a crossroads that will forever change humanity. The world's transition to renewable energy requires a modern and sustainable electrical grid. For over 120 years, Nexans has provided the means to supply this electricity, from energy generation and transmission to distribution and usage. Nexans solutions cover the full electrification value chain. We connect the world's renewable energy sources, countries, and continents, ensuring that electricity can be delivered to all corners of the globe. Laying these energy highways is a crucial step on the global path to a carbon-free economy, creating a more sustainable future. Nexans will be at the forefront of the next electrical revolution, electrifying the future.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon. I'm very, very happy to welcome you here in New York City for this third edition of the Nexans Climate Day. Let me say hello as well to the hundreds, more than 600 people connected live to this event. Very, very happy to have all you there. Americans and all nations are waking up to climate change. We are at the beginning of a huge electrical revolution that will involve the same level of investment as all investment made between 1950 and 1970. This is due to the fact that infrastructure surrounding the generation of energy was built during that period. Today, the world is still 70% dependent on fossil fuels that must be replaced by carbon-free source of energy. But in the meantime, the electrical grid is obsolete in many parts of the world. And as well, the demand of electricity will grow by 20% because of the electrification demand, but as well the growth of the population. We know that we need to accelerate the momentum on electrifying the world to get us closer to global carbon neutrality, as electrification is the fastest way to the world decarbonation. But we have two main challenges. Challenge number one, speeding up the shift from fossil fuels to renewable energy. The world will deploy an equivalent of 200 gigawatts of electricity through offshore wind farm by 2030. To put things in perspective, let me tell you that 1 gigawatt of power is equivalent to a nuclear reactor. 90 gigawatt is under deployment in Europe. 30 gigawatt is under deployment here in the US, and expected to come up to 100 gigawatt by 2050 in US, and 50 gigawatt will start to be deployed in China. If I go a step further into the US, we see several actions in many states on renewable deployment. But New York is one of the most aggressive states in the US in terms of committing itself to create a fully carbon-free statewide economy. As New York State will have around 100% carbon-free electricity by 2040, offshore wind energy will likely be the main source of electricity for the state by this time. Nexans was proud to bring the electricity for the first time in the Champs-Élysées in Paris in 1892. Nexans will be extremely proud to connect the big majority of offshore wind farms here in New York State, supporting our key customers like Ørsted and Equinor. Challenge number two. The electrical grid is the backbone of any country's economy. But we have not been so close to massive power outages. As you know, the electricity travels through millions of miles of cable every day. As we saw in Texas, when infrastructure fails, it not only means direct asset damage, but life stops. You have limited access to telecommunication, no more heating system, and limited access to water. Due to aging infrastructure and the intensity of climate risk, each nation needs to invest, modernize, and fortify its electrical grid. You know, it's like the telecommunication network. Everyone understands that in order to have a better quality of life, we had to dismantle the very aging LAN cable copper that have been installed late 80s, and to replace it by leading-edge fiber optic to enable us to have a higher bandwidth and low latency. And of course, that gives us the opportunity to move the network, telecom network, from a 2G technology to a 4G technology. It is the same idea for the electrical grid backbone, except that those investments to renew it has not been made yet. So to give you an image, today's grid here in the US, today's grid here in Europe is like my grandfather's car. It's expensive and labor-intensive to maintain. We know the breakdown will happen. The only question is that we don't know when it will happen. But the challenge is not only to renew as it is the electrical grid, but to make it as well resilient to climate change and events like hurricanes, storms, and fires. The real question indeed is, how are we going fast enough? 5 years down the line, US will have to make a major shift, like in Europe. The good news is that we have no limit of what we can do. We have the people, we have the machine, we have the technology, we have the know-how. We just need the willing cooperation of the federal and state government to accelerate those developments, and as well to accelerate the renewal of this grid. So why Nexans? Why are we here today? And what will we do about it? In a few minutes, let me explain what is Nexans. Nexans is a French group, a global leader to electrify the world with renewable energy. With an history of more than 120 years, we've started with the pioneers of electricity, namely Tesla, Westinghouse, Benjamin Franklin, Edison. The group is made of 27,000 talented people based on 5 continents, on 100 countries, on generating a revenue of more than $7 billion. In the last 4 years, Nexans made a strategic turn to refocus on what we do the best since our creation 120 years ago. Electrify the world, electrify the future, but in a sustainable manner. This is why we have decided to stop our diversification in some great sectors like automotive and telecom, but we wanted to really become a pure player of electrification, connecting offshore wind farm to the shore, manufacturing and installing interconnection subsea cable to connect continents together in order to exchange green energies and bring leading-edge cable and system, as well as supraconductivity solution in a very dense cities to limit any risk of electrical blackout due to the aging of infrastructures on the very high and vertical energy demand. As you understand, we cover the entire value chain, from the energy production, the transmission of this energy, distribution, up to the usage of this electricity. More and more, we will provide a renewable and decarbonized energy in a fully circular economy, not only because this is our responsibility to play a role in the climate change battle, but also because the waste of today are the growth of tomorrow. Recycling copper, aluminum, and all raw material will be crucial for tomorrow's development, as we will not have sufficient raw material reserve to serve all nations. And I should add that this strategic turn has deeply changed our vision, the way we manage the group, and the way we operate our units. When I became CEO of the group on the 4th of July 2018, Nexans was living in dark nights due to wrong strategy, lack of vision, lack of commitment on the sustainability. There was an emergency to react on all fronts. This is what we did. 4 years later, thanks to our amazing teams everywhere in the world, Nexans made a deep and structural transformation, and our enterprise value has more than quadrupled in the same time frame. So let me thank all our team all over the world for their fantastic dedication. From energy production to its use, we are connecting offshore wind turbines, floating turbines to more than 80 kilometers, 80 miles away from shore. We are building the undersea energy highway to connect continent and stop all energy waste. We are renewing entirely the distribution infrastructure network to limit blackout, and we are securing the use of electricity for our daily life. With the inauguration last year of our dedicated offshore wind power and submarine energy cable plant in Charleston in South Carolina, that I will be with them in Charleston tomorrow with investors, we have made Nexans the unique subsea cable manufacturer all over US to support offshore wind farm development. This year, we christened our new vessel that you will see on the screen after my speech, the Aurora, an investment of nearly $200 million. The vessel is unique because of its size, 170 meters, 20,000 tons, can sustain 9,000 metric tons of cable weight. Just to give you a perspective, this is the weight of the Eiffel Tower. What we are doing with it, it's unbelievable. I will tell you, 20 years ago, it's like science fiction. But we are connecting countries together through long-distance cables. As an example, we have a project to connect Europe with Africa and Middle East. We can now setting more than a 1,500 miles long cable distance, installed at 10,000 water depths, 10,000 feet water depths. It is not just a vessel. It's a floating factory that requires between 60 to 90 specialized people on employees. With our strong market share on development to connect offshore wind farm, on all our recent investment, you now understand the choice of New York City to organize our Climate Day, and as well to be, this week, a very active partner to New York Climate Week. 2 years ago, we have launched the first Climate Day here in Paris to address, with many experts, the mainstays of sustainable electrification. Last year, it was in Sweden. We have addressed as well a lot of questions around the electrical grid backbone. Nexans annual Climate Day are open to various points of view, like you will see on all the exchange this afternoon, with a real will to debate on those texts. We are always willing to learn, listening, customers, global companies, influencers, regulators, gathering everyone together to make a climate vision a reality for sustainable electrification. Because we are a pioneer of electrification for the last 120 years, it is our responsibility to be open, to work in a collaborative spirit, because we are stronger together. We aim to electrify the future. All our prestigious speakers today, all part of the solution, Thank you so much to be with us today. Thank you so much to be connected with us today, and to accept this free discussion to be an active part of this sustainable ecosystem that we all feed. And so I'm very proud very honored, very pleased to open this third edition of Nexans Climate Day in 2022 here in New York City. Thank you very much.